An Dagda the Witch. An Dagda be with you. This is Jess Bear, and I'm your host with Jess Bear Chats, a YouTube channel that's dedicated to talking about Irish pagan practices through a American lens. I wanted to start off by giving a quick shout out and thank you to Kaoiṁe. I believe I'm saying your name right, who recently sent me this amazing mug. Yes, I have been wanting this mug for about a year after I saw uh, my friend and Dagda bro, John O'Sullivan, received it, and I've been wanting it for a while, and it just showed up as a surprise, as a thank you for the work that I'm doing in trying to reach out to more people around An Dagda's work and the myths and trying to keep it in a American perspective, as well as recognizing the need to support and provide context about the culture that An Dagda comes from and how he's shaped today. So, thank you so much, Kaoiṁe. I really, really appreciate it. It is a beautiful mug, and I used it immediately. And even though my husband asked me, "Oh, is this going to go on the Dagda's altar?" and I said, "Absolutely not. He already has a cauldron and a cup, and this one is mine." I do recognize that that cup is probably going to see more than its fair share of rituals and talks with the Dagda. So I may have spoke a little too quickly on that. So anyway, since I got that gift and since I've been uh, doing a lot of studying and learning, and I got such a response about the last video about the problems of naming drinks and food after cultural atrocities. It got me thinking about more things of what I really wanted to talk about. And what I wanted to talk the most about is An Dagda, the Dagda, the good god of the Irish. So, you know, as you also may know, if you have seen the previous videos, I recently rededicated myself to An Dagda with a new contract. And uh, I have been working with him and being supported by him for the past several years. And I recognize that it's a passion that I enjoy talking about. You can put me in any situation, and if someone asks, especially in a local setting, asks me if they want to learn more about the Irish and who is the Dagda, my eyes light up and I rub my hands together and say, "Are you ready for a conversation?" quote unquote. It may be more of a instructional lecture on the topic. So, that is what I'm hoping to do today, or at least start doing today. He is known as the good God, the great God, the God that can shape the earth and hold the sun in time and place. He is as expansive in his knowledge as his ability to give and take hospitality. And I can definitely go on and on about him, but that wouldn't be very conducive to simple YouTube videos, especially when people maybe prefer the shorter end of YouTube videos. So, what I'm going to start doing is share a little bit of what I know by going through his names and epithets through the lore and the myths, sort of a one by one thing. And I'm going to continue sharing resources, basically the places that I am learning this information from much more scholarly and practiced people than myself. And of course, also gaining the insight of people who are indigenous to Ireland and who are working directly on the land and with these gods. And finally, share some personal insights and my experiences on working with the king of the good folk. Um, and finally, I also hope to look into maybe when I come across some modern day depictions of either the Dagda himself or characters that I think maybe exemplify some of the things that the Dagda is about. I'm hoping to, maybe share those things with you and kind of break it down and see, are these things accurate or not. So, so yeah, so that's the plan. But first things first, which is I'm going to share with you a couple of resources, my favorite resources, when it comes to finding information about the Dagda, as well as information that's a little more garnered from people experiencing the Dagda. So, yeah, so my going to share with you my top two favorite resources. So the first one is The Dagda Meeting the Good God of Ireland by Morgan Daimler. She is a fantastic writer. If you haven't read any of her books, I don't know what I'm glad you're here because you clearly need to know more about Morgan. Uh, they have done many books, not just on Irish gods, but on fairy, the good folk, witchcraft, and that sort of thing. They also are known to translate the Old Irish and to be able to put it in a more modern context. So, that particular book is just chock full of very wonderfully researched information about the Dagda based on the myths and based on the understanding of the Irish language. It's fantastic stuff. I highly recommend it. It's less than 100 pages. So it's a very short read, but it is chock full of information. Who he is, what his names are, what kind of tools he uses, what type of roles he fulfills. So all of that in just one short little book. So it's a great starting point for those who are looking for more information. The other one is a much more personal and a much more, how do you say, it's a much more modern take on the Dagda, and that is Tales of a Dagda Bard, Volume 1, and there is a Volume 2 out by John O'Sullivan, Ma Dagda Bro. So this is stories that are either retold from the myths that are known of An Dagda and where he, was in different myth cycles, but also there are modern retellings and personal experiences that were written down with the Dagda. And I cannot really tell you how important these works are to me. Well, I guess I can. Um, I will actually put a link to my favorite and I think most profound story about the Dagda that John wrote, and it's called The Dagda's Work. It is in the volume one. He also has it on his website, and he has a YouTube video recording of him reading the story. So it is quite a long story, but it is what basically brought me to um, the Irish pagan path. So I it may not have the same effect for you, but I can tell you that it, for me, really solidified my understanding of who this God is in today's context and what he can do and what he provides for people that work with him. So cannot recommend him enough. So again, that was Tales of a Dagda Bard, Volume 1 by John O'Sullivan, and there is a Volume 2 out that I haven't read yet, but it is on my to-do list. So I will also put a link in the descriptions for those who want to listen to or read the Dagda's work for free. Um, yeah, so those are the big ones. Those are the ones that have found honestly the most resource for. Um, there is one more, and I did not wait. Yes, I did. The final one is a collaborative work, and it's one that I'm still working through, but I have found an absolute wealth of information from, and it is called The Harp, Club, and Cauldron, A Harvest of Knowledge. And it combines both scholarly work as well as personal tales and personal reflections on working with the Dagda from different people. It's put out by Eel and Otter Press, and it was edited by Laura O'Brien and Morpheus Ravenna, two very strong and well-spoken, well-written authors in their own right. So this is a well put together piece of people trying to reflect on and understand this God who is known to do many things very well. So there you go. So those are three really great resources for you to start and begin to understand his place, An Dagda's place in the lore, and maybe put some context around any experiences that you may have had with An Dagda. So I want to leave this then with the question for you to share with me in the comments, and that is, what sort of experiences have you had with An Dagda? What do you hope to get answered? Either through reading some of these books or maybe with me talking about my experiences through this video channel. Please leave your comments down in the under the description, or you can email me at justbearchats@gmail.com. And I look forward very much to hearing about your experiences, and if you have extra resources, please share those with all of us. I'm still learning. I still love checking out new spaces that could maybe give me a better and greater context of the good God. So please share what you know with us as well. Okay, I think that'll do it for tonight. Thank you again for listening and watching this video. Um, Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can get updates when I do put out a new video. Currently, I'm doing that Mondays and Fridays, and if you'd like to support this work financially, I would very much appreciate that. You can consider buying me a coffee or three at my webpage at Ko-fi, that's ko-fi.com/dogdabear. And I would very much appreciate that if you do. Thank you very much ahead of time. So, with that, until we meet again, may you stay safe, well, and well fed.